Hey everybody. So I'm here with Dean, who's been a student of mine for the year 2023 to 2024. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Like Brad said, my name's Dean. I'm 48. I'm in New York, not far outside of New York City. A little bit about my background. Currently, I do work in law enforcement, but my background's kind of dynamic. In the early 2000s, I was a stockbroker, licensed Series 7, 63, 65, worked in North Carolina. Uh, Worked for a couple of brokerage firms. One of them was Salomon Smith Barney. The other one was Scott Stringfellow, which at the time was when a lot of these mergers were going on, where banks were buying brokerage firms and merging. I worked for a BB&T, boss Scott Stringfellow. So I was a licensed Series 763, 65 trader, had all my licenses. My educational background, went to the University of North Carolina, have a business administration with a concentration in finance. Um, and kind of my trading background was more of a fundamental trader. Wasn't into technical analysis, more kind of like the Warren Buffett of understanding intrinsic value, but fundamental, the buy and hold strategy of, buy stocks paying dividends and hold them for a long period of time. But when I was a stockbroker, I did focus on a cover call strategy and fee-based accounts. So that's kind of like and then probably did that for about 7 years and decided to do a 180 and go into law enforcement, which had been for about almost 20 years. And now I'm going to go back to the original cycle, now retire and go back into trading, but instead of a fundamental trader, going into becoming a, more of a technical analysis price action trader.
When did you join Systems Academy last year, and what was your expectation going in?
I joined in December, probably right around Christmas time, up here, middle of December. And my, what my expectation was, I think it's important to kind of back up the kind of how I got into Systems Academy was I wanted to get into day trading. And because I do break it up, I break up uh, investing and trading. So investing is a buy and hold strategy, and I wanted to get into understanding day trading, intraday trading. And I took some courses, and I took you start looking into uh, other educational programs, and I got involved, and I spent a lot of time, in those programs, and I was disappointed because I know that if you put the time and effort into something, you should see some type of results. And um, again, we can never control our outcomes, but when you're making, putting the time in and putting the effort in, there should be some type of results. And when I wasn't seeing this, and then started looking that other students weren't having the same kind of seeing any progress, I started questioning it, and then I started actually almost decided like maybe this isn't for me. But then I came across, I said, let me dig deeper using my investigative background of 20 years. That let's dig deeper, and I came across Systems Academy, and I started looking into it, and I saw Ali as very calm gentleman. Uh, it wasn't glitz and glamour like a lot of these other universities or educational programs where they'll tell you these get rich quicks, 5 minute setups, trade 5 minutes a day and make tons of money. You didn't get that, and have these unbelievable Instagram and social media content. And really that's what they were all about, was just glitz and glamour with no substance. But when I saw Systems Academy and I saw Ali and I saw him talking and just looking at some YouTube videos that he had and digging deeper. And I said, I got to explore this more. And I started digging deeper into it. And I found that this was the real deal, because trading, I understand, is very complex. And there's no such thing as I always use the term one trick pony. There's no such thing. There's no get rich quick. uh, they're all schemes, and I didn't see it. I saw this was an opportunity that there was going to be. I felt very comfortable after seeing it, and I didn't hesitate. I sent in a request to, to be considered, and the next thing I had a conversation with you, Brett, and we started talking about
Yeah, I
this,
remember that.
and it was just awesome. I mean, I just realized like no one tried to sell me anything. Nobody, no one, you didn't try to sell me anything. I think the confidence when I kind of understand, I understand a little bit about how how we operate as humans. You were confident in this program. You didn't have to sell me anything; it sold itself, and that's what really like. Okay, there was no pushing. There was like, hey, this price is only good for today and today only. There was none of that nonsense. And I think we probably spent an hour talking of your time, and I was like, let's rock and roll. I was no hesitation. I told you, let's go. And you actually, one thing I say, Brett, you were saying, why don't you think about this? Maybe you need to do a little bit more studying, and you might need some more time before you jump into this. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy's not a salesman. This guy's not pushing me on anything. And I was like, no, just I want to do this. I want to go. I want to rock and roll on this. It was the greatest decision I ever made.
Let's talk about the work process of Systems Academy and like your understanding of kind of what you were getting involved with when you signed up towards the work you put in. What was your typical process or thought process from day one to, how did you study Systems Academy? How did you kind of go through the process to get to where you were?
You have to have some type of expectations. So when I signed up and I got the course to start out with, where you want to watch, there are sections of watching of videos, and I was like, oh my goodness, it was kind of a little overwhelming. Like, this is a lot. This is a lot of stuff. Um, but very after you watch it once and a couple more times, and also going through the weekly meetings and progress reports and the weekly progress reports that you send in, it all starts to come together. But the quality of the program is very well laid out. You have videos to start out with, which are very important, and it's just basically about what's becoming a systematic trader. Um, the usefulness of all the materials there, it makes sense as you start going through the course. Again, in the beginning, you can become overwhelmed, but it's okay. That's human nature. But and then you have great support coaching. Like I said, we have weekly sessions. I have weekly sessions with you, Brad, and our group. Also, the students, I don't really consider it like a class. I consider it like a team. We all have a common goal. We want to become good systematic traders, and we all work together. And we work together during the week, asking each other questions. And the value of having the weekly sessions, the courses, the videos. We also record our sessions every week, so we can go back and watch that. To build a system of taking this knowledge and building it, it's systematically laid out, which makes sense becoming a systematic trader. So everything kind of is it's like it's like a mechanical watch. It's all every pieces of it makes sense. It's all fit together. So the quality and all the of everything, and you can kind of, even though it's a year, you can kind of go at your own pace. A year is a lot of time to kind of get through this. But as long as you're going through as long as you're putting the time in, asking questions each week, you will advance your knowledge in becoming a better trader by far.
Tell everyone a little bit of what project or projects you're working on.
Yeah, so in the beginning, you start real simple, a back of a napkin tests, and taking a concept of, some people might not know what this is, the first principle of trading, but just basically understanding what a breakout is, where we all start from. It's a simple breakout, one bar breaking out above its high or low. and building from there, and just looking at, historical charts, and understanding that simple breakout idea, and then building it into understanding what a spike is, a microchannel, and understanding really what that all is, and then trading it. So what I work on is basically a 3-bar microchannel, would be very specific. Let's just say I got 3 bull bars. They're kind of uniform, closing on its highs with a micro gap. My decision process is, do I buy the close? Do I pull back into the micro gap? Or do I enter at the top of the signal bar on a limit order? That's really, but first is identifying that setup, 3-bar microchannel. Again, a little bit more into where I'm at is, where I'm at in the EMA, but just simple of understanding that microchannel and how to trade it, and then shoot for a 1-hour return, and just really understand that. And when you just understand what a breakout is, those other dynamics of trading, that's your first system. That's probably the meat and potatoes of where everybody should start. And you kind of preach that in the beginning, and other coaches. It was just focus on a 3-bar microchannel, and everything else will fall into place. But one thing that you can really, because there's so much information, and Ali also has this, this PTM, you can overload yourself with information and start taking other setups, instead of really, all you have to do is just really just focus on that 3-bar microchannel until you understand that, develop out your system, and then trade it live. Other things will fall into place of building onto other systems. And your first system will take your longest, because why? How to do research, how to document, how to collect data, how to document that data, how to put it in Excel. And when you put that all together and you build that first system, building systems afterwards are going to go faster.
This was day 1 of Systems Academy, and you knew everything you knew now. What approach is there anything you would change? Is there anything you do differently than you did?
I would tweak a few things. I don't have any. I would say number one is I probably would have watched more PTM courses to get a little bit more understanding of price action, which Ali has. There's a library of information there. I also have his flashcards, which I think you can use for your system. I think if I spent maybe 1 or 2 months of maybe some of the flashcards and a little bit more time into the PTM, I would have had a little bit more grasp of really understanding the microchannels and breakouts more. That's really the only thing. It would have been more bringing in a little bit more knowledge into Systems Academy. But I would have never known that if I didn't get into Systems Academy. So there was an element of information, of experience that I needed to know a little bit more of. And if I had that little bit more of a knowledge, all that would have done, Brad, was probably picked up the pace of building that system faster. That's it. And that's on me. That's nothing, any you or Ali or Systems Academy could have changed. That's just my piece of advice as somebody who is maybe thinking about doing this right now. I'd look into, there's something like you're missing a little bit of a knowledge about. That information that Ali has of PTM, and I've watched, I'm pretty comfortable saying probably 90% of those videos, and I religiously look at those flashcards. Even now, much more knowledge I have, because it's ingraining that knowledge even more and more, because you always pick up something else when you listen to it. That's the only thing I would have done differently. If you really want to get into a little bit more, I'm not a big Excel guy, but that's okay, because the spreadsheet that we are given to kind of build out the system to get the data collection is already provided for us. You don't need to be an Excel genius. if you're looking to be a systematic trader. Automation is different. I'm not going to touch that because I'm not going to build an automated system. I'm going to be a systematic trader. So, if you have experience in data collection, that's going to help you out. You don't necessarily need it. I can tell you, I didn't have it. I'm not a computer savvy guy. So, but if you have a little, if you want to maybe sharpen up a little bit on your Excel, you could. But that has nothing to do with trading. That's more of just collecting data, of building out a system. But if you have that background, that's, you're going to have a little bit of a edge on somebody like myself.
Any other comments or experiences from this past year you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I would say about Systems Academy. This is my heart and soul and mind saying about this is people will look at the cost of this. This is not a cost. This is an investment. If you're serious about, I want to say, having a chance of becoming a profitable trader, there's no other course out there. And no one's paying me to say that. I've looked at other coursework. This is soup to nuts by far the best thing you're going to find out there. I use this quote: trading is the hardest, easiest money you can make. It is hard, but it's easy money, which makes it kind of dangerous where you can lose all your money. But if you have a system, a process that you can build out, Systems Academy will help you do that. If you put the time in, you have coaches, there's plenty of information. This is up to you. If you don't succeed, it wasn't because of Systems Academy, it's because of you. There's nobody to point fingers at, because there's plenty of information. You have plenty of coaching. You have other students. I can tell you all of them are engaged. Everybody's prepared on a class on Thursday. You're doing the progress reports. If you're putting the effort in, that's really all you need to bring to Systems Academy. You bring the engagement, you bring the effort in, you put the time in. You will get frustrated, and that's okay, because you're gonna get frustrated. I can tell you, I got frustrated. However, if you follow what is being laid out for you, you have a high success chance of being being successful. And anybody out there, because what you notice, and I call them the charlatans that are out there that are pushing, their products about, here's a 5-minute setup and make 10. That does not exist. That does not exist. That's not realistic. It is unrealistic that you're going to make 10, 20% a day. That's not realistic. And that's coming from, I was a professional trader. I worked in the brokerage industry. That's not realistic. Is it realistic to make 0.5% a day? 1% a day? That is realistic, but you need a system to do it. And you need this course that if you take it, it's a year long. And if you put the work into it, you set yourself up way better than anybody else that's out there. And if you're going to get caught up into if you don't have the time, don't do it. And if you're going to look at it like, this is a pretty expensive, if you're looking at this from a time and cost and already have that negative mindset, then don't waste your time. Don't do it. You can keep wasting your time with, the guys that are pushing these, $1,000 ideas, and they're going to continue to fail. When you have a very high chance of being successful getting involved in Systems Academy. And it's the greatest out of all the things I've seen in dating myself now in 20 years, out of all this trading, all the stuff that's out there. I'll even go back to when I was in college, when I built something out, but that was more of a fundamental thing. I'm confident to say this. I wish I just did Systems Academy. I didn't go to college, because there's more information in here that you're going to learn in any college, university. There's more information here that you're going to learn from even when I was in the brokerage industry. This stuff is top notch, and I think you can get a lot more money for this, Brad. This program, what you guys are offering, from the time that you're putting into it, the material that's in there, it's awesome, by far awesome. I give it five, 10 out of 10 stars.
How much time did you put into this? I mean, if you could kind of just elaborate on some of that. And when I say this, your Systems Academy, your trading, all the work that went into the whole picture. from this
Yes.
past year?
So you'll hear the cliche, I don't have enough time. Okay. You have time to watch the football games, you have time to play video games, you have time to go hang out with your friend. So what I could do, I get fixated on things and I need to eliminate the noise. So I'm very disciplined. It's just how I am. I'm very disciplined. Got rid of the cable. Don't, get rid of anything that is not adding time to me because I'm 100%. You got to be 100% dedicated to this. I spend, you know, I'm comfortable saying I would spend an hour and sometimes 6 hours a day on this. And I'm a busy guy. I'm a father. I have a full-time job. I don't work. I work way more than 40 hours, sometimes 60, 70 hours a week. I still get my training in. I still sleep, still get it in. I have a lot of responsibilities, but I made sure I found time. At least if I had a really busy day, I at least put at least an hour into it. But that's me. Because when I get going into something, I'll just, put on a pot of coffee and just stay up because I look at this as fun. This wasn't work for me. I enjoyed this. I enjoy, you know, uh, through my investigative background, I wanted to solve this. I'm not going to say you're going to solve trading, unlike solving an investigation in law enforcement. But I wanted to arm myself with much knowledge, building and really utilize the resources that were there and maximize everything. And what can I do to maximize it? And then before I even started Systems Academy, because I knew it was going to take some time, I had to look at where I can eliminate things that are not adding value in my life. And I was focused, and I wanted no distractions. So I can tell you, I haven't watched a cable network show all year. Nothing. This was what I was engaged in. I can care. I'm a big Yankee fan. I didn't pay attention to it. None of that. I left out. I wanted all the noise to be put aside and be laser focused into this. And I guarantee you have to look at it. Like I said, we're all busy. Everybody hears that I'm busy. I don't have time. I don't have time. You have time. If you want this, you will find the time. You don't have to do what I did. Like I said, I would spend sometimes up to 6 hours and probably even longer doing this on days that I could. When I'm off, I have nothing going on. I crank 6 to 8 hours into this, and that's just me. However, the really busy days, I at least got my worst days are probably an hour. But that's me because I wanted to, you know, accelerate my progress as fast as possible of knowledge. Okay. And that's just me. So you have to put the time into this. There's no get rich scheme out of this. But if you put the time in, you will see progress. I saw progress every single week. And progress can also be, some data you collect and you get some back testing and maybe you put it out and you're like, you didn't get the results you wanted to. However, it was still valuable information. Every week I had the mindset of I want to learn, I want to build on my knowledge and I need to learn something new every single week. And that's the mindset I have. This is also what's required of getting into this is the mindset of you're gonna put the work into this. The coaches are there. They'll put as much time in with you as you were always there, Brad. You'll give as much time as you want. You're a busy guy, but you always found time for us. You're trading, you have a channel, you're part of a lot of stuff, and you always found time for us. And if you want to do this, you will find the time. And like I said, to give a little more personal, like I said, I'm a father. I work full time. I work a lot of overtime, and I have a lot of responsibilities, big responsibilities of what I do on my job, of projects I have to do outside of this. But I always found time to do this. And I'm also very big into health. I don't have any vices of going to. I don't drink. I'm very into healthy eating and exercise, and I still exercise, still eat. I still get all that stuff in, but you have to put the time into it, and people do have the time. I mean, unless you're, I could tell you, a couple will tell you, I work on my job between 70 to 80 hours a week, and I find time to do this. If you want it, you'll do it. And I always say this from my days of I've learned from some of my coaches is, you want to be great. If it's not you, then who? If it's not now, then when? So you have to decide as everybody thinks about becoming a good trader, but when are you going to take action? It's about taking action. Biggest thing is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you have to take action. And the first step of take action, getting Systems Academy. Next step is you can get all excited, like, oh man, I got this. And you have all this stuff. You got to break it out. Don't be overwhelmed. There's a lot of stuff there. Just you take your time, go through it, and make steady progress throughout. Don't fall off. Month 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Be consistent. Month 1, month 2, month 3, and keep building on each month of consistency and keep taking action every single day, every single week, and you'll see significant progress. And I'm no problem saying this, Brad. I'm not a genius. I'm not book smart, and I have no problem sharing that. When I was in college, I did well, but I had to spend, there's some students that can spend 2 to 3 hours and get it. I wasn't that 2 to 3 hour. I was the guy who I would read something and I'm like, what did I just read? I have no idea what I just read. And then I had to read it again and again. And I would spend, 12, 13 hours studying when I was in college, 8 to 10 hours. And I also played sports in college, D1 sports. And that was a big commitment. So it was either sports and studying. That's all I did. But I did develop the mindset. I had some great mentors growing up, and all great athletes, all great, anybody who's good in whatever they do. It all starts with mindset and having a very strong mindset. You can't have a weak mindset. You have to have a strong mindset, and you're going to have the naysayers. And one thing about this course, nobody's going to understand what we're doing. Is only the people within that course. You're going to have naysayers out there saying, the market's fixed. You're going to lose money. You're wasting your time. And I remember, Ali saying it took some time, hey, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. When he was going involved in this, Al Brooks, it takes time. And you can be discouraged because we live in an instant gratification society where we want it now. There's no such thing as you're going to get it now. You got to put the time into it. And, just stay away from, the instant gratification of what we see on TV and the glitz and glamour, and eliminating the noise. Take action, stay focused, and you'll see results. You'll see results. You will make progress. But at the end of the day, it's going to come from you. How well your results are going to be.